Muchas gracias. Continuamos con estas entrevistas políticas, esta serie del candidato Responde de Poder 102.1 FM. Y para conducir este segmento una vez más, Víctor Capellán. Adelante, Víctor.
Muchísimas gracias, Zoilo. Aquí estamos en el candidato Responde. Esta vez tenemos con nosotros al gobernador Dan Mckee, que está aquí para responder a nuestras preguntas y hablarnos sobre su plan de gobierno. Governor, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. So let's dive right in, Governor. So, you have been now in the governor's seat for a year and a half. What would you say you would cite as your biggest accomplishments? And how have those accomplishments benefited the Latino community, who are our listeners? Gobernador, usted ha estado en el cargo durante un año y medio, y en este año y medio, ¿cuáles han sido sus mayores logros y cuáles han sido esos logros que han beneficiado a la comunidad latina?
Well, first, it's great to be here at 102.1 FM. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's been, coming in on a state of emergency like we've never seen before in our lifetime was certainly a test of leadership. I think we provided, and my team has provided leadership when it really mattered most, taking us from one of the lowest vaccinated states in the country to the very best vaccinated state in the country. Certainly helped all our communities, all 39 cities in town, including the Hispanic community. Reopened our economy as number one in the Northeast, number two in the entire country. Again, that has helped our businesses and the people who work in the state of Rhode Island, including all the Hispanic families who rely on their paychecks to raise their families. And having the lowest unemployment rate in the history of the state of Rhode Island, and there's still good paying jobs available. Those are remarkable accomplishments in a very short period of time. And I'm going to be happy to talk about what's going to come next. But our budget that we've passed is going to provide us 3 to 5 years of economic opportunity, for the people who live in the state of Rhode Island. And we're going to make sure that every community, including the Hispanic community, takes advantage of that opportunity.
Gracias primeramente por tenerme aquí en la emisora Poder 1110, 102.fm. De las cosas que yo he logrado, que estoy muy orgulloso en el tiempo que tengo como gobernador, es que en tiempo de una emergencia, esto fue un examen para el liderazgo nuevo. Nosotros hemos subido de ser el estado que tenía la menor cantidad de vacunación a ser el mejor en todos los Estados Unidos. Y esto ha beneficiado a las 39 comunidades que forman el estado de Rhode Island. Nosotros abrimos la economía primero que el resto del país, siendo el número 1 en el noroeste y la número 2 en el país completo. Tenemos también la tasa de desempleo más baja que ha tenido el Estado en toda su historia. Tenemos buenos trabajos con buenas pagas y esto incluye en mi presupuesto 3 a 5 años de oportunidades económicas tanto para las 39 ciudades y pueblos como la comunidad hispana en general.
So, Governor, let me ask you. Let's stay on that theme. As you know, this station has one of the largest, radio listeners in the state, Spanish-speaking radio station listeners. And so why should those people who are listening at home send you back to the State House, send you back to the governor's office? What's the plan? What would you do in those first 100 days as you gear up for a full term of 4 years? Gobernador, como usted sabe, esta estación llega a uno de los segmentos más grandes de la comunidad latina. Y quiero preguntarle, ¿por qué estos radioescuchas que nos están escuchando hoy deben de mandarlo otra vez a la Casa Estatal, esta vez para un término de 4 años?
So the main thing right now is to execute on the opportunities that we have for the Hispanic community and all our communities in the state. My number one goal is to increase people's incomes in the state of Rhode Island. And so you're going to have to invest in education, housing, job training, and really provide opportunities for the Hispanic community, for all our communities. So my number one goal is to increase people's incomes. And that's something that I think that is going to help the Hispanic community quite a bit as they earn more dollars. They're going to have more ability to raise families, own a home, and help their kids get educated.
Esta oportunidad que se presenta ahora va a lograr que nosotros podamos ejecutar todo lo que tenemos pendiente. Esto es una gran oportunidad donde mi primera y único meta final es incrementar los ingresos de las personas latinas y de todas las comunidades en las 39 ciudades y pueblos del estado. Es lo más importante para nosotros porque esto va entonces a derogar en ser la oportunidad para lograr tener su casa propia, tener mejores trabajos y poder dar y brindar mejor educación a sus hijos y familias en el estado.
So, as you know, Governor, I've been in education now professionally for 25 years. But now, as the dad for a 4-year-old, I have another view into the education and some of the challenges that we have, the opportunities that we have. As governor, what would be your plan for education in Rhode Island, and specifically in Providence, as the state has taken over the Providence school system? What would be your work over the next 4 years? If you're reelected to continue working, what would be your plan for specifically the Providence schools? Gobernador, como usted sabe, yo tengo 25 años trabajando en el campo de la educación, pero ahora como padre de un niño de 4 años tengo ese interés específico de la problemática de la educación y las oportunidades que hay. Mi pregunta es específicamente en las escuelas de Providence, pero también en la educación, ¿cuál va a ser el plan del gobernador De Rhode en la educación y específicamente con el papel que juega el Estado en las escuelas de Providence?
Well, first, Victor, thank you for your service in education. I've been at it for quite a while as well as an elected official, but before I was a governor, I was a coach, boys and girls. Hundreds of games, very diverse group of kids that I coached. And one of the things that I learned in that space was that many of the kids I coached weren't ready to move on in education. So I did something about it. Not only did I opened up public schools, those public schools that I opened up right now in the top 15 elementary schools in the state of Rhode Island, 3 of them are mayoral academies. And they're the only ones with more than 30% free and reduced lunch in those schools. On the middle schools, 3 of the top 10 middle schools in the state of Rhode Island are schools that I started. And only ones on that list there's nobody that has more than 30%. Actually, the schools that we're operating have probably averaged 75% free and reduced lunch. So we're going to just do more of that, but we're going to make it a community affair. We're going to make sure that the entire community is engaged in helping, not only in Providence, but around the state of Rhode Island. Because I think that we all can do better if we do our best. And that's the plan, is to do our best every day. It's hard work. But we're going to make Rhode Island a place where education is the issue of our time for every household, including the Hispanic families.
Primeramente, gracias, Víctor, por tu servicio a la comunidad en el área de educación por tus 25 años. El plan que nosotros tenemos es un plan ambicioso. Primero, antes de ser gobernador, yo era un coach. Y un coach para niños y niñas también, que eran muy diversos. Y me di cuenta que durante este tiempo ellos no estaban listos para la educación superior. Yo he sido el que ha abierto escuelas públicas que en este momento están entre las 15 mejores en el estado de Rhode Island, 3 de ellos entre las 10 mejores de Rhode Island. Y yo pretendo ampliar esta oportunidad para todos los hispanos y para todas las comunidades en el estado, porque entendemos que la educación es la puerta para la mejor economía de las familias.
Governor, a quick follow-up. Would you continue with the intervention in Providence? What's the plan there specifically? Gobernador, ¿cuál sería el plan para la intervención en Providence? ¿Usted mantendría el estado envuelto en las escuelas de Providence?
Well, the goal is to provide the school system back to the city leaders in a governance model that they agree on. But right now, the work is still there's a reason why the state intervened with the schools in Providence, and the work is not over. I think we got great leadership there with our Commissioner of Education, with Dr. Montanez in terms of being our superintendent there. So the work is going to continue, but the goal would be to bring in into the discussion all of our community leaders so that they are preparing for that transfer. I think that I've been on public stating that Central Falls, it is time for the public schools in Central Falls to be given back to local leadership. I'm going to work on that in a way that makes sense. And the same thing would be true in Providence. But we have to make progress, and we know in order to make progress, we're going to need to bring people, all in on creating this effort to create the best options possible for our kids in Providence and around the state.
Mi intención es regresar el dominio de las escuelas a los líderes comunales. Es la meta de que todos los líderes puedan participar en la respuesta de mejorar y transformar las escuelas. Pero para eso, esa transición tiene que hacerse de una manera efectiva. Es difícil, pero mi intención es regresar el mandato para los líderes locales.
Great, Governor. So let's switch a little bit and let's talk about our small businesses, knowing that you were a small business owner. And I know that you were recently on Broad Street. I saw you over on Broad Street recently. And so what is your plan for those small businesses on Broad Street, Elmwood, Cranston, where the majority of the owners are Latinos and Latinas who have been building their businesses? How would you help them grow? How would you help them maintain and sustain their work? Gobernador, la pregunta es, recientemente lo vi en la calle Broad y sabiendo que usted fue dueño de un pequeño negocio, mi pregunta es, ¿cuál es el plan en una administración de Mckee por 4 años para apoyar a esos comerciantes en la Broad, en la Elmo, en la Cranston, que la mayoría de esos pequeños comerciantes son latinos y latinas? ¿Cómo lo ayudaría usted a mantener y a crecer sus negocios?
Well, first, happy birthday to our friend Frias.
Primeramente quiero desearle un feliz cumpleaños a mi amigo Frías.
So the plan is to continue to invest in our small businesses and to provide opportunities to make it really work for everyone. As a small business owner, I've already done that. We've put a great deal of monies out in grants to our small businesses and highlighted our Hispanic and minority-owned businesses to make sure that they received over 20% of those funds at a minimum. But now it's about creating licensing strategies that can make sure that our small businesses can work through the details to make sure that their businesses are successful. And we're going to keep on working on finding ways to invest in our small businesses, as I have over the last 18 months. We did put in a substantial amount of money that's going to go directly to the minority business owners with back office help and other type of help in terms of establishing their businesses. We're going to continue to do things like that to make sure that that the small businesses can prosper, earn more money, have their families earn more money, the workers earn more money, and do it in a way because, and I'll just finalize, I know I went a little long here, but this is a really important point. And I coached, right? So the good teams, everybody does their best. The very best teams, everybody helps everybody else do their best. So right now, the biggest opportunity we have in our economy is in the minority community because they have struggled the most. We know minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, have more difficulty accessing capital than other businesses, right? So, or other communities. So we got to make sure that we have access to capital. But the upside here, Victor, is unbelievable. When we want to create a better economy in the state, you can lift up many people, but those who have struggled the most, that's the biggest upside, and we're going to take advantage of that.
Es importante establecer que hemos estado invirtiendo en subvenciones que van a beneficiar a todos. Especialmente quiero enfatizar que el 20% de esas subvenciones fueron directamente para pequeños negocios minoritarios, en su mayoría hispanos. En estos 18 meses podemos nosotros ofrecer este tipo de ayuda, donde va a haber ayuda de oficina, de reorganizar su negocio, de prosperar su negocio y de prosperar también a los empleados. Una cosa que quiero enfatizar como coach, puedo decir que un buen equipo se ayuda y hace estrategia entre ellos mismos, pero el mejor equipo ayuda a cada uno de los integrantes. Entonces, sabiendo que las minorías, especialmente las mujeres, tienen la mayor dificultad en preservar sus negocios, estoy poniendo énfasis para que nosotros podamos desarrollar una infraestructura, perdón, estoy diciendo mal esa palabra. Infraestructura, gracias, Oilo. Me voy a quedar muda, no sé hablar inglés y se me está olvidando el español. La infraestructura que va a proveer esa prosperidad para los pequeños comerciantes.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias primeramente, Rosa, por traducir. Governor, thank you so much for being here in the Candidate Answers, el candidato responde. I really appreciate you being here at 102.1 FM. Governor Dan Mckee here with us today. Gobernador, muchísimas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Gracias, Rosa, por traducir. Gracias, Gobernador.
Well, thank you, Victor. And we ask everybody else for their support and their vote on September 13th. We will elect a governor on September 13th. And we want to keep this momentum going for all our communities in the state, including the audience that's listening in right now, the Hispanic community.
Quiero aprovechar para darle las gracias por habernos permitido venir a conversar con ustedes aquí en la emisora y con todos los oyentes. Quiero aprovechar la oportunidad para pedirles su apoyo. El día 13 de septiembre es las elecciones primarias y yo espero contar con su apoyo y con su voto.
Gracias, Víctor, una vez más.
Gracias.
Definitivamente es una edición especial del Candidato Responde. En esta ocasión teníamos al incumbente gobernador del estado de Rhode Island, Dan Mckee, aspirante a la reelección. Continuamos en 102.1. Hay más.